a rock-solid plan for protecting your wealth. That's why I'm inviting you to a special financial briefing this Thursday. During this exclusive summit, you'll get proven top strategies for safeguarding your hard-earned assets and securing your financial independence. We'll cover everything from diversifying your portfolio to creating a fail-safe emergency fund. Don't leave your future to chance. Call my friends at Advantage Gold today at 800-741-GOLD to register at no cost whatsoever. In today's uncertain times, it's critical to have a solid plan in place to protect your finances and secure your future. Call 800-741-GOLD now to register for this 100% free summit. That's 800-741-GOLD.
Paid for by Advantage Gold. Performance may vary. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Always consult your financial and tax professional.
WIKG, Mercersburg, Chambersburg, Greencastle, 92.1 The Goat, the Tri-State's home for sports and news. Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
Welcome to the middle of the work week, and it is Wednesday's edition of Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie, all powered by Home Right Windows and Doors, the right choice, winner in the 2024 Best of the Tri-State. Now, today's weather is just a little wonky in my opinion.
Okay.
Could see some showers, about a 30% chance, but it's going to be like hot, borderline hot. High right around 80.
Wow.
Could see some showers again tonight, low 59, and then the showers possibly can continue into your Thursday with a high of 73.
This is crazy for November, what are we at? November 6th?
Yes.
Wow. That's unreal.
I'm very baffled by it. And, part of me wants to say, let's enjoy it, but part of me is like, no, let's get to it.
The problem with weather like this and little spurts of weather like this is that you can't get used to it.
Do you turn on the AC? Do you turn on the heat? What do you do?
Are you going to break out the shorts again for a day? What are you going to do? I mean, please don't break out the shorts.
No, they're gone. They're packaging in the attic.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. Couple birthdays today. Emma Stone is 36. You may remember her from La La Land, Cruella movie.
Was she on Easy A?
Yes,
Okay.
that is Emma Stone. Ethan Hawke is 54. I know him from the first Purge movie and, of course, Training Day with my man Denzel. Sally Field is 78. God, I love Sally Field.
Yeah, she's a treasure.
One of my favorite Sally Field movies is called Not Without My Daughter.
I never saw it.
And the other one I love is An Eye for an Eye.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great
That's
movie.
with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, so happy birthday to you as well if you're celebrating a birthday today. It is National Nacho Day. When did nachos become popular? Well, while a Mexican hotel manager created the dish in 1943, a U.S. sportscaster gets credit for popularizing nachos in 1976 during a Monday Night Football game.
How did he do that? Did it say?
I don't, but I know the game was against the Ravens and somebody else.
In the 70s?
Yes.
How were the Ravens weren't around in the 70s?
I don't think they were called the Baltimore Ravens. Or what was
They were all Baltimore Colts.
Then they were the Baltimore something. Yes.
The Baltimore Colts, yes.
I apologize.
Okay.
Wow, I'm so sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
And also, you may be thinking, well, who actually invented nachos? Credit goes to Ignacio Nacho Anaya, who first created them for the wives of U.S. servicemen at a Mexican hotel restaurant in 1943. The thing I love about nachos is you can put anything on them. They're great with just some nachos and cheese. Yeah. You could do it up big.
Barbecue.
You could do some meat on there, throw some jalapenos on there, make it a little spicy. Mm-hmm. You could do it as a snack. You can do it as a meal. You can do it daytime. You could do it nighttime. Nachos.
You can do it in the middle of the night.
You could do it.
You could do it in the morning for breakfast. Pop some eggs on there, and you have huevos rancheros nachos.
That's right. It's never a bad time.
No.
Easy to share, makes everybody happy. Yeah,
and plus you can say they're nachos.
Nachos. No. Back on this day, November 6th, it was 164 years ago. 82% of the eligible voters turned out to elect this person as our 16th president.
George Washington. No, John Adams? Ronald Reagan.
Oh, you're close with Reagan, sure.
Let's go with Lincoln.
You are correct. It was 101 years ago that Jacob Schick was granted a patent for the
razor.
Electric razor. See, that's the one SCH that I can say, Schick, because that is correct.
That is correct, yes.
I like to say schmores and schmuckers.
Oh, there's another one you said. I can't remember. I enjoy winter, spring, fall, and summer.
I don't do that one. 31 years ago in 1993, this became a #1 hit for Meatloaf and stayed there for 5 weeks.
Anything for love?
I was going to say, if you don't get it, I'm going to sing it to you. I would do...
Well, I got it. So you don't have to.
Just in case there's someone who's listening who's thinking, oh, I don't remember how that song...
Well, I was actually doing well.
Go ahead.
No, that's okay.
But I won't do that. My favorite Meatloaf song...
Paradise by Dashboard Light.
Well, I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday.
Folks,
Walking by
I
the
deal
lake
with,
and there's...
this is a daily occurrence for me. So you're welcome. I try to shield you as much as I can from this.
I also love singing that song karaoke because it is a fun karaoke song. Especially, it's a long song, but I think everybody gets into that one. That's another fan favorite, like We Didn't Start the Fire, where people are so impressed that you know the words. It doesn't matter how bad your vocal ability is. That's what I go for.
Yeah.
What song can I sing that masks how bad I am at singing, but still impresses the crowd with the amount of knowledge that goes into knowing the song?
Just remembering.
Right.
Memorization.
Yep, that's about where I am. It was 26 years ago in 1998 that The Siege, starring Denzel Washington and Bruce Willis, also The Waterboy, Adam Sandler, both opened to packed houses for the sole reason that the Star Wars Episode 1 trailer was being shown before and after both pictures.
Imagine going back to that world where if you wanted to see a trailer.
Yeah, you had to go to the movies and sit and wait.
It's crazy.
I didn't know that about either of these movies. I just thought that was a crazy fact. And I wonder if everybody stayed through the movie just to watch the trailer again
I would
at
hope,
the end.
But personally, I didn't care for The Siege.
I don't think I ever saw it. I love The Waterboy, but you have to like Adam Sandler, obviously.
Waterboy's okay. It's one of his more tolerable ones, I think.
Yeah, I like when he's like, somebody singing, water sucks. It really, really sucks. And that's what makes him really mad. And
I don't even remember all this.
And that's how he ends up being so good at tackling because he thinks about people trash talking water, essentially.
The main thing I remember about that is there's something wrong with his medulla oblongata.
Good movie. I like it. And it was 12 years ago in 2012 that Barack Obama won his second term in office.
Against?
Mitt Romney?
So why am I having a hard time remembering this? I can't remember if it was McCain or Romney.
Oh, maybe it was McCain.
I think it may have been McCain.
I was living in 2012. I was here. I don't remember. Oh, shame on me. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think the 2008 was Romney, and then 2012 was McCain.
Okay, that sounds about right.
I probably do. I probably have that backward. I'm ashamed of myself that I can't remember that, but anyway.
Well, that's okay. I think we're going to check in with the good word of the day, and it's all powered by Veritas Men's Health and Hagerstown. They have telehealth available, and you can find them online at veritasmenshealth.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tim Beitzel from First Assembly of God in Shippensburg, PA. By the way, you can check us out on the web at www.agshp.org. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about Jesus' words, actually an introduction to Jesus' words in Matthew chapter 5. If you're following Jesus and you read your Bible, you will recognize Matthew 5 as containing the Beatitudes, and the further passage in the next few chapters is what we call the Sermon on the Mount. And a lot of the things that Jesus has to say in these passages seems very, very hard for us to understand. But I want to draw your attention to something in the opening verses of Matthew chapter 5, reading today from the New Living Translation, verses 1 and 2. Listen. One day, as he saw the crowds gathering, Jesus went up on the mountainside and sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them. What struck me this morning as I was looking at that is this. Those whom he was teaching were those who were following him. If you're following Jesus, we have to be willing to be taught by him. Jesus, fully God and fully man, because he was fully human, needed to get away from the hustle and bustle of the crowd, the people that were following after him for what they could get from him. So Jesus pulled away from the crowd, gathered his closest disciples around him, and began to teach. Listen, if you're following Jesus, we need to spend time at his feet. We need to spend time letting him teach us. Even if the things that he is teaching us seem difficult to handle, here's one thing you have to remember. Jesus' teaching are for our benefit. God is not out to cramp your style. He's out to give you a better life, a life that is full and abundant. Thank you for joining me again today. Remember that as you sit at the feet of Jesus, be willing to let him teach you, even if those truths can be hard at times. God bless you. See you next time.
A Maryland State Highway Administration contractor is starting construction work on a $61.9 million project along Interstate 70 west and southwest of Hagerstown. The project includes improving 6 bridges and the roadway along the highway from west of Greencastle Pike, which is Maryland 63, east to Bauer Avenue overpass, according to the State Highway News release. Weather permitting, they are expecting to finish the project in 3 years in the fall of 2027.
It'll
So
be here before you know it.
you think?
Yeah.
I mean, we are almost in 2025.
These things always, they start them, and when they say they'll be finished, before you look back and like, wow, that's crazy. Now, for someone who has to drive through it every day, I'm sure that
It feels a lot longer.
Exactly. I rarely drive that interstate anymore, so for me, it's going to seem like, oh, well, this is different.
I can't believe this.
Right.
This took overnight and then it's done.
Speaking of overnight, last night we had our big election night coverage. We're going to go over the local races here, and you can obviously watch the national news, and these are all going to be, unofficial results, even though 100% of the precincts may be reporting this just for the sake of, covering our butts. These are the unofficial standings, but you can check the national news if you want as far as the presidential race and which states did this and that. We know that former President Trump will now become the 47th president of the United States. What I thought was interesting, though, is we will cover the presidential race, but just how did your state or your local area vote? So we'll do Washington County now, and then we'll also cover Franklin County, Pennsylvania. So that was interesting. So speaking of, in Maryland, Kamala Harris picked up Maryland, which was no surprise. She did it with 35.79% of the vote. Donald Trump, who was the Republican, in early voting was a massive surge, and I mean big-time surge. I'm sorry, this is Washington County, mind you, so keep that in mind. Kamala Harris won Maryland. However, Donald Trump won Washington County at 61.51%.
Wow. Whoa, that is...
overwhelming.
Yeah, that is.
Overwhelming for Washington County. That's to be expected, though, in the state of Maryland, which historically for presidents goes Democrat. And sometimes on the Senate side, you'll see that they may vote for a Republican senator or sometimes a Republican governor, which is usually the most likely case for the governor. But when you go kind of more to the western Maryland side, Allegheny County, Washington County, mix a little Frederick County in there as well, far more conservative. So you'll see more votes for Republicans. Let's see here. So now, and I'm taking a look at these with fresh eyes, mind you. For the U.S. Senate seat, this one had Larry Hogan, the former governor of Maryland. He did very well. Again, Republicans 66.2% in Washington County to Angela Alsobrooks 28.71%. However, Angela Alsobrooks was declared the winner of the U.S. Senate seat. For the representative in Congress for District 6, Neil Parrott won that with 62.35% of the vote. That's the Republican. A lot of judges up for continuance. So let's see here. We have Judge of the Circuit Court for Circuit 4, Kirk Downey. He picked up the win for that, 98.92%.
Whoa.
So
wow.
He pretty much ran on the post is what that amounted to. If you look at the Supreme Court of Maryland for Circuit 3, Matthew J. Fader, and the following are all continuances in office, yes or no. So Matthew Fader at 84% said yes to continue. Ann Albright, this is for the Appellate Court of Maryland at large, 83% to continue. Kevin Arthur, this is 84% to go. So there were some no's on that one and the one before, but by and large, all of them were told they could continue. We also have Andrea Leahy, and that was 84% as well. Now, even more hyper-local, Maryland. I'm sorry, Hagerstown, Mayor of Hagerstown, Bill McIntyre, he won that with roughly 70% of the vote. City Council of Hagerstown, these were ones that were in a lot of people's minds, and I can't wait to get to. I haven't even read the results for these, including the City Council. I'm very interested. Let's see. Kristen Alshire, she was in first place. Caroline Anderson in second. Erica Bell in third. Mark Bell in fourth. Tiara Burnett in 5th, Sean Flaherty in 6th, Stacy Michael in 7th, and Rich Owens in 8th. And that all went from 13.41%. And don't take those, by the way, those positions, because the percentages are a bit different. But you could vote for up to 5 of those. The Board of Education, it looks like we have McCusker, Burkett, Stauffer, and Beachley. All of these did relatively well, I would say. The least vote getter would have been Robin Merchant Spickler, picking up just under 10% of the vote. Everyone else was over 10% of the vote for the Board of Education. And I know that was big on a lot of people's minds. Amazingly, I told you how I go on YouTube walks, and it seems like YouTube knows what I want to see. I don't know how, but it knows me so well. I say it knows me better than my wife, Mary. But it took me to a lot of these videos that go viral of parents at Board of Education meetings, and they're going off.
Oh, yes, I've seen. Yes,
very colorful language. One popped up the other day, and it was just showing the parent. And nothing to me looked familiar. But he starts throwing out names of...
Is this the parent of a child who is in special education?
I can't make... I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I don't know. But it was a gentleman who was... I mean, he was using very colorful language, and I'm sure meant to be unsettling. And some of the names he was throwing out against the members of the Board of Education, I recognized.
You recognized them.
And I'm like, wait a minute. And here it was Washington County?
I wonder if that's the one that I saw. I mean, I also have seen a lot of those. I'm wondering if that's the same one that I saw sticking up for his child who was in special education.
It was crazy, and you know, wow, this is Washington County, holy cow!
But, I think the whole election was just crazy. And
so glad it's over. Glad we can move on.
Yes, and let's go ahead and take a look at sports, and it's all powered by Legends Bar in Chambersburg. You can satisfy your sports fix at Legends Bar with game day specials and cold brews. You can find them on Hollywell Avenue in Chambersburg. What's going on, Andy?
Congratulations going out to the Greencastle Antrim Blue Devils lady volleyball team. They were able to score a first ever PIAA volleyball victory last night. Playing in the first round of the PIAA Class 3A tournament at home, Greencastle Antrim gave Conwell Egan Catholic a 1-0 lead before roaring back to win 3 straight games and collect a 3-1 victory. It's the first time Greencastle's earned a PIAA tournament win in volleyball, and it comes on the heels of Greencastle Antrim reaching its first ever District 3 championship game and earning its first ever district title this season. Greencastle, who went 20-2, will play in the quarterfinals on Saturday. The site and time are to be determined against District 7 runner-up Beaver High School. They're 19-4. They defeated Du Bois in the first round 3-1, and the Eagles, who are 14-4, the third place team from District 12, trailed Greencastle Antrim 16-13 when Cecilia Macbeth stepped up to the service line. Conwell Egan scored 7 consecutive points. Then after a kill by Abby Eagler, that made it 20-17. The Eagles ripped off 5 more in a row to win game 1, but then the Blue Devils made several serve-receive errors and had a hard time getting its offense on track. Coach Maddie Goodwin decided to make some changes in the lineup, and it benefited the Blue Devils as they came away with a win 3-1 and came back against the Eagles and beat them 3 straight games to get their first ever PIAA volleyball victory. Congratulations, ladies. Coming up tonight for flag football, it's a big night. Boonesboro is taking on South Hagerstown at 5 p.m., and Smithsburg will take on North Hagerstown at 6:30. The championship game will take place at 8 p.m., and then the Maryland State Tournament will happen this Friday at M&T Bank Stadium, home of the Baltimore Ravens. Some great volleyball action tonight in Washington County as well. Coming up for the Maryland 1A West Region 1 final, Clear Spring is traveling to Fort Hill at 6 p.m. And for the Maryland 1A West Region 2 final, Boonesboro travels to South Carroll. That match also starting at 6 p.m. For the Maryland 2A West Region 1 final, Middletown is traveling to the Williamsport Wildcats. That match starts at 6 p.m. And in the Maryland 3A West Region 1 final, North Hagerstown takes on Linganore at North Hagerstown. That match also starting at 6 p.m. Coming up on the Coach's Corner today, I have Boonesboro volleyball coach Shelby Wallace and Williamsport volleyball coach Karen Hampton. They're going to sit down with me. They're going to talk about tonight's game and how their season's gone so far for both of their teams.
If you'd like to be featured on the Coach's Corner with Andy, email coach at 921thegoat.com.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
I feel the same way that I felt yesterday. I feel like this was a game that the Cowboys should have won.
They did.
They did. I didn't think they were spectacular, but that's okay. You don't have to do style points. This isn't college. We're not trying to impress the BCS. This was good for them to get away with a win. And I still have them not making the playoffs this year. Hey, this is Maggie Gray on 92.1 The GOAT, the Tri-State home for local sports and news.
Looking for a renewable, clean-burning, and cost-stable home heating alternative? Use Somerset Premium Wood Pellets, available at Knitter House Hardware. Somerset Premium Wood Pellets are 100% hardwood, clean-burning, and low ash. Available in 40-pound bags or by the ton. Stop by and ask about delivery options. Somerset Premium Wood Pellets are already helping to warm over 1 million homes in the U.S. Will your home be next? Knitter House Hardware, Chambersburg's neighborhood hardware store just off Wayne Avenue.
You know your car.
My Mitzi takes premium and a wash once a month.
Or at least you think you do.
Old Hank has a double Buford throttle Hemi.
But if you're lacking the space or the tools to work on your baby.
What about the know-how?
That too. Then our garage is for you.
Danny's Garage, your local Volkswagen and Audi specialist with over 45 years of experience. Stop in and see why the Tri-State area trusts Danny's to get their Volkswagen and Audi right and back on the road in no time. Stop by Danny's Garage in Quincy today.
Making your home more comfortable, secure, and efficient. That's the goal of CV Winger, from upgrading your heating and cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems to installing new faucets or security lights. CV Winger is your solution, a certified York dealer offering products backed by decades of experience. Founded over 140 years ago, York has been an industry leader from the start. Talk to CV Winger today about the upgrades you want in your home and receive a free estimate on your projects. From installing new Comfort Height toilets to a whole house generator or a heat pump water heater. See how properly installed quality York products can make your home smarter, more efficient, and more reliable. You can save money on your energy costs too. Call CV Winger today at 717-263-1469 or find them online at cvwinger.com. CV Winger in Chambersburg, your certified York dealer.
Hey, it's Cody from Bell Jewelers. Don't miss our in-store remount event happening Friday, November 8th. If you've got a treasured piece that could use an update or you're thinking about creating something totally new, this event is for you. We're offering 25% off all in-stock mountings. That means big savings on a fresh look for your favorite jewelry. Whether you're looking to add a little sparkle or completely transform a piece, we're here to help you bring your vision to life. So stop by and let's make your jewelry dreams a reality. Bell Jewelers on Norland Avenue in Chambersburg, your diamond destination.
Everybody's athletic journey is different. Some athletes might find themselves injured, and others are looking to get back into their favorite activity. At Meritus Sports Medicine, our expert team will support the unique needs of athletes of all ages and levels, from youth to professional. Conveniently located at the Valley Mall, our new facility boasts leading-edge technology and the compassionate local care everyone deserves. Our expert team will develop individual treatment plans guided by the needs and goals of each athlete. To learn more, visit meritushealth.com/sports medicine.
It's beginning to feel like rifle season. Are you signed up for Keystone Outdoors' annual Battle of the Bucks, sponsored by Strum Ruger & Company? Contestants signed up for the Battle of the Bucks will fight it out for the largest rack title. Registration is closed for archery, but rifle contestants have until November 29th to sign up. Anyone signed up for the Battle of the Bucks will be entered to win a Weatherby 307 Adventure. Must be present on Saturday, December 21st to win. Check out Keystone Outdoors on Facebook or stop in the store for more details. Keystone Outdoors in Fort Loudon. Everything Bucks, everything outdoors.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
Welcome to the middle of the work week, and it is Wednesday's edition of Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie, all powered by Home Right Windows and Doors, the right choice winner in the 2024 Best of the Tri-State. Now, today's weather is just a little wonky, in my opinion.
Okay.
Could see some showers, about a 30% chance, but it's going to be like hot, borderline hot. High right around 80.
Wow.
Could see some showers again tonight, low 59, and then the showers possibly can continue into your Thursday with a high of 73.
This is crazy for November. What are we at? November 6th?
6th, yes.
Wow. That's unreal.
I'm very I'm very baffled by it. And, part of me wants to say, let's enjoy it. But part of me is like, no, let's get to it.
The problem with weather like this and little spurts of weather like this is that you can't get used to it.
Do you turn on the AC? Do you turn on the heat? What do you do?
Are you going to break out the shorts again for a day? What are you going to do?
Local and live.
No, they're gone.
Change brings opportunity, and here at Williamsport Health and Rehabilitation, we are very excited to announce that as of October 1st, our name has changed, but the care and compassion that is at the heart of all we do has not. Previously Williamsport Retirement Village, our goal was and always will be to provide the best care in the tri-state area to our community. We currently have openings in our assisted living and long-term care. Please call 301-223-7971 to hear about our incentives and to schedule a tour. Williamsport Health and Rehabilitation, care beyond compare.
The JR Sport Brief on the Infinity Sports Network.
Am I going to favor them to win the championship this year? The answer is no. That'll be the greatest miracle because this is the New York Jets. And unfortunately, what's most likely is that one day Aaron Rodgers packs his bags and says, I want to leave. The New York Jets don't have a coach, and the New York Jets are going to have to start from scratch and suck for many more years because another Green Bay Packers experiment quarterback screwed them. This is JR of the JR Sport Brief on 92.1 The GOAT.
It's football season, and there's no better place to catch the game than Legends Bar in Chambersburg, the hottest spot in town. Located on Hollywell Avenue, they've got everything you need to make game day unforgettable. With ice-cold beer, delicious bites, and all major sporting events streamed live, you're covered. And the best part, also food and drink specials like burgers and draft specials on Mondays, or empanadas and margarita specials on Tuesdays. Plus, enjoy free pool tables every Wednesday and Sunday. So come on down to Legends Bar, the hottest bar in Chambersburg.
Local and live. Covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State.
Joining us on the line today, we have Melissa Clausen. She's the owner and counselor of Breakthrough Counseling. Melissa, how are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Thank you for joining us today on the line. Now, Breakthrough Counseling, I think everyone has a general idea of what counseling services are. But I'd like for you to take us through, just take a minute or so and tell us about Breakthrough Counseling, services that you offer, where you're located, website, all the important information.
Okay. Our office is located in Jefferson, Maryland, about 7 miles from Frederick. And we're an outpatient mental health clinic. We have 14 to 15 different providers that have all different niches in regards to marriage counseling, child and adolescent. We do some play therapy, grief therapy. We have an ASL fluent counselor that works with just the deaf population. And so we also have about 4 to 5 psychiatric nurse practitioners that do our medication management. So that just offers a collaborative approach for the client. So it's a one-stop shop. They don't have to go to a doctor for their medications and then another facility for their counseling. And it just helps all around kind of having the provider and the medication provider discuss the needs and wants and the treatment planning for the client.
And prior to us hitting record, and I have been talking about this not long ago, is we're coming out of the pandemic. I think it's safe to say, excuse me, that with coming out of the pandemic, we're pretty much over it, for lack of a better way of saying it. But the effects of the pandemic, are they still, the mental health effects of it, are they still causing ripples and shockwaves through what you're seeing?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think that we're going to even see the half of it until about 5 or 10 years down the line.
Okay.
We're never going to have accurate...
Expound on that for me, if you would. What you mean by that?
Well, we're never going to have accurate statistics in mental health. We know that statistics in regards to like suicide, depression, anxiety is always underreported. Either due to the stigma or due to the reports not being accurate. But what we're seeing now is the just kind of coming out of the pandemic is just Breakthrough is seeing 30% influx of calls of people searching for help for depression, anxiety, increase in substance abuse. Divorce rates are at an all-time high. Children that are really struggling with kind of having to go back into the school, being socially, kind of getting back to being social again in regards to being locked into their homes for 2 years. Kids that were locked into their homes for 2 years that were in unhealthy homes, and as being exposed to no structure and no learning. We couldn't find those children, right? So they didn't have access to iPads or laptops or anything. So there was no ramifications if they didn't show up for their classes online.
So you're saying, and I don't mean to be dismissive when I say this. When I have questions, I just want to ask them for the benefit. The whole purpose of this this interview series that we do is just asking the questions from the experts themselves. So I feel whenever I ask a question, it may be something that someone else might be thinking. So I'm asking on behalf of the audience here. You said it was, and we all know the pandemic in its worst phase was roughly 2 years long. So to what do you attribute the influx? I mean, I know we can generally, in general terms, say pandemic, but do you think it is primarily the fact that there was so much isolation, or is it that it was people are concerned for their health, or a repeat of something like that? Is it a combination? What do you think?
Yeah, I just think it's a combination of everything. Everything needed to be revamped 180 degrees. Mm-hmm. So we had kids that, again, we had 3 types of kids that are coming out of this. Kids that actually flourished, that gain confidence, that do not like to be social, right? That their academics actually, did really well in regards to the isolation and independent learning. Mm-hmm. We had kids that did well academically, but socially really missed their friends, missed sports or band or anything that they were kind of activities that they were involved in. And then we had the kids that did really not well. They didn't do well. They're not doing well socially. They don't, whether it be unhealthy homes, focus and concentration issues, lack of self-motivation, and they just needed, that's the only structure that was provided for them all day long. And now they had none. Right. So what we're coming back into, now everybody comes back to what we're calling the new norm. And now we have this kind of division here, and we have kids that, that kind of miss those basics, that miss, like our first and second graders, right? We have kids that are now going into 3rd grade and they don't know how to read and write. They missed all of that stuff. And now the schools have to change their statistics and, the stats in regards to their, to their yearly exams. Those are all the same. So
have you found that there is an age range? I guess your way of giving me this data would be the age range that you don't see a lot of. But so I would word it as, have you found an age range that seems to be more resilient coming out of the pandemic, and that the pandemic did not have the lasting mental health effects that you're seeing in other age groups?
No, I think they are all affected. Okay. I think that, again, middle school is when, those are the worst years, right? That's when our hormones are kicking in. That's, and those are, we're seeing kind of lack of maturity there. And then in high school, where we're seeing we're seeing a huge influx of ages between 18 and 25, not able to make it in college. Mm-hmm. That is definitely something different that I've ever seen before. Is that, and I just feel like they lack that social life experience of, maybe junior and senior year, they thought that they were going to be like number 1 in football or number 1 in band, and they had to be resilient during that and realize that they weren't going to be number 1. All of that was just ripped from these kids. And so now you throw them into adulthood, and what we're seeing is a lot of them are not able to make it. They want to go back home.
All right, do you think people, by and large, well, I shouldn't say by and large, but do you think people in the age group you're talking about of that late high school into early adulthood, do you think that they are finding that it's surprising them how much in-person still exists? So in other words, we're coming out of a pandemic where it forced the technology hand. We had to advance so much, so quickly, things that we may have thought, well, eventually will become virtual, had to become virtual practically overnight. And then during the technology was not perfected, and probably it's not yet still perfected, but it certainly is closer than where it was. The whole point of this line of questioning is, do you think that that's part of them not being prepared? They may have thought, well, everything is just virtual now. Oh, wait, you mean I actually have to be in front of people?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And again, all of those, just think about 2 years of life experience in regards to emotional maturity and in regards to just
formative years.
Those formative years where you're finding yourself and figuring out who you are and what you're going to be. And they lost that.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that we have to give some patience and grace to all ages and all walks of life. And then what we're also seeing is in adults.
Yeah.
We're also seeing adults, like I said, divorce is at an all-time high. We have parents that now not only had to be parents, they both had to work inside the home if they could still work.
Sure.
And they had to be the teachers, and they had to, do the division of labor. So that was taxed. We saw small business.
Mention, most times we have, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is, this has to have been part of the issue, is they always say everyone needs their space. And you don't often see husbands and wives who work together in 24/7 are in close contact, close quarters with each other, because they have that workspace they can go to. They can kind of, for lack of a better way of saying it, you can escape the relationship, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And this forced everyone together. Do you think that caused a lot of the rifts in that they just, maybe they realized, okay, I'm just tired of this person. They're just on my last nerve.
Yeah. Well, and things that you had when you do have that, 8 to 10 hours of space from each other. Now, all of a sudden, you did things your certain way, right? As say the person the wife worked from home, and she had a certain way that she did her day and certain time that she did maybe, her downtime. And now, the husband's working from home, and now she had to be quiet, and she couldn't do the certain things that she used to do.
Have you been talking to my wife?
Yes, I think I have.
Because that I feel like that happened to me. I could have told that story. Quite honestly, I remember with being in radio, we had to work all through the pandemic. I always said if it wouldn't have been for having to see everyone in public wearing masks, and because I would go do the grocery shopping, my wife did not, having a newborn as well. But what happened was I wouldn't have known a difference if I wouldn't have seen all of that. But then, obviously, when the pandemic started to hit here at the radio station, you get exposed to it. You certainly want to take those precautions. So we made accommodations to where, if that happened, from an on-air standpoint, we could do our show from home. Mm-hmm. And I remember I had to do a week of that. I did not have it. I didn't have COVID, but I was exposed to it. And obviously, abundance of caution, fine. But I thought we were going to, just file papers then. So take us through contacting your company, everything that we need to know so that we can have our listeners reach out to you if they're in need of help.
I encourage everybody to go to our website, which is www.breakthroughcounselingmd.com. And on there, you'll be able to look up all the providers' biographies, be able to kind of see what their niches and expertise are, figure out whoever there is somebody that maybe you could connect with. And then you can call the office. Our offices are open Monday through Friday. We have people that answer the phones, which I'm very proud about, from 7:30 to 6 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday, 240-986-1001. And they can get you set up. They can match you with, if you have insurance, which providers take your insurance, what your copay deductible is going to be, and get you set up and get you in and get you feeling better.
Well, Melissa, I can't thank you enough, and I would love to have you back at some point, and let's not make it too long. Melissa, Breakthrough Counseling, and thank you so much for joining us on the line today.
Thank you so much.
At Jersey Mike's, it's just done differently. They take pride in making your sub, whether it's a hot sub or a cold sub. You see them slice it or grill it fresh right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. Visit them today and find your favorite go-to sub or try them all. Jersey Mike's Chambersburg on Walker Road, and now open in Gettysburg on Natural Springs Road in the Giant Plaza. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
It's the perfect blend of modern living and timeless elegance. DRB Homes Loft at Creekside in the heart of Winchester. DRB Homes' premier uptown 2-floor plan offers spaces thoughtfully designed for your lifestyle, along with options including a 4th floor loft and terrace. Your premier lifestyle begins with the tranquility and amenities of the lofts at Creekside, just minutes from downtown, surrounded by natural beauty and moments away from shopping and dining. To find your dream home at the lofts at Creekside, visit drbhomes.com.
Lizzie's Restaurant on Buchanan Trail West is open 7 days a week for takeout and dine-in service. Get your taste buds ready because their caramel apple sundae is back. Vanilla soft serve with 2 fried apple pie pieces, topped with caramel sauce, cinnamon-infused whipped cream, and a cherry, of course. Yum. Open 7 days a week for dine-in, takeout, and local delivery. Be sure to follow Lizzie's on Facebook for the latest info and specials. Lizzie's, the way you like it.
Come down fast lane, Hagerstown or Martinsburg. Come down fast lane. Oh, yeah. At either location, yeah, we've got great deals. And fast lane car sales can finance your wheels. Buy some late models and low mileage too. Come on. Come down fast lane. On the lot or online. Come down fast lane.
You can't spell autumn without 2 A's.
Well, there's only one A in autumn.
Well, there's no fun in autumn without 2A Arms, the original 2A in Chambersburg. If you are headed to the woods for archery or rifle seasons, 2A has everything you need, including youth hunting rifles from top names, and they can special order archery items. Your successful hunt begins at 2A Arms, 700 West Loudon Street, Chambersburg. Online at 2ARmsLLC.com. 2A and PA. Firearms and freedom. Join us on Saturday, November 23rd for the 39th Annual Greencastle Christmas Parade presented by Verstandig Media and Antrim Way Honda. Get into the holiday spirit and help welcome Santa Claus to town. The Christmas Parade starts at 9:21 a.m. Be sure you're curbside to watch for Santa and all his jolly helpers. The 39th Annual Greencastle Christmas Parade is brought to you by Brian's Boats and Campers, Carl's Drugstore, Greencastle Coffee Roasters, Kara Schaefer with Remax First Advantage, and Hammer Down Customs.
Hey Hagerstown, looking for the perfect place to explore the world of THCA and growing? Come check us out at Simple Pleasures. We're more than a shop. We're a space where cannabis, culture, creativity, and community come together. Whether you're looking for premium flower, potent edibles, or a new bong, I'm your guy. We've added a brand new glass art gallery and waiting lounge where you can kick back and take in the creativity around you. And check out the Smoke Me Out podcast film right here at Simple Pleasures. Simple Pleasures, it's where cannabis culture feels like home. Cultivate your lifestyle with us.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
Looking to do some kind of volunteer work on Thanksgiving? This is a really cool opportunity for you. Harvest Lighthouse Ministries is in need of volunteers to help serve a free Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday the 28th from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Moose Lodge, 201 Woodbury Avenue in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Pastor Debbie Bauman will hold meetings for the volunteers every Thursday between 5 and 6 p.m. at Harvest Lighthouse Ministry, 104 East Martin Street in Martinsburg. If you would like more information, you can contact 304-671-4275 or send an email to harvestlighthouse@gmail.com. I think that is a really cool thing that not everybody can get together with their family for Thanksgiving. And if you're going to be alone and you wanted to get out in the community and do something, this could be a great opportunity for that.
I agree. And let's continue now with our coverage of the elections, our local elections. We're going to move to Franklin County now. But before we get there, I want to cover one thing in West Virginia. And coincidentally, you're talking about Martinsburg. This was big news that a lot of kind of went under the radar a little bit. But Jim Justice, the former governor of West Virginia, ran for Senate. It was a seat left vacant by Joe Manchin, longtime senator. And I really liked Joe Manchin, although, we had some differences. I'm a registered Republican. He's a Democrat. I just thought he was a good man and did a great job. So I thought that his seat left big shoes to be filled. Mm-hmm. And Jim Justice, Republican, was able to flip that seat to control of the Republicans, which helped them gain control of the U.S. Senate. So congratulations to Jim Justice for picking that up.
It's a fitting name for a politician.
Right, yeah. Now let's move up to Franklin County here. A lot less to cover than was in Washington County with this. However, I thought, again, we might like to know how some of the major races, how Franklin County looked. Now, bear in mind, Washington County was overwhelmingly Republican-leaning when it came to the presidency for President Trump. About 62% voted for him for that, even though Kamala Harris carried Maryland. Pennsylvania, this is incredible, 71% voted for President Trump. Mm-hmm. As far as and that race was called for President Trump. This one is still, at the time of us saying this, is too close to call. Mm. However, for United States Senator Robert Casey, he's the incumbent. He stands at 28% roughly, and Dave McCormick, 69%. That is for Franklin County.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, the race is neck and neck.
Okay.
And it has not been called yet. It's razor thin who's going to get that Senate seat.
Any idea when that will be called?
A lot of people that I was watching today are saying later today,
Okay.
maybe into this evening, they should call that Senate race along with the other Senate races. They're just waiting on some of the absentee ballots to come in, the mail-in ballots, which takes a long time to count because they just don't do that ahead of time in Pennsylvania. So those are more the national races. Now we get to the local side. Attorney General, looks like Dave Sunday, the Republican, picked that up. Auditor General Tim DeFore, also a Republican. I'm seeing when it comes to the Republican-Democrat split in Franklin County, it's roughly 70 to 75 to 20 to 25 is what it amounts to. And let's see here. Stacey Garrity for State Treasurer. And then let's move on to the representative in Congress. We have the Republican John Joyce picking up 74% of the vote. Senator in the General Assembly, Doug Mastriano, has won re-election for that. General Assembly 81st Legislative District, Sean Steig. He's a Democrat. And then General Assembly 89th Legislative, congratulations to Rob Kaufman, who handily defeated Noah Kreischer at 71%. And General Assembly ran unopposed. 4% of people got the write-in ballot, but Chad Reichert, who I know personally, congratulations, Chad, picked up the General Assembly 90th Legislative District. So congratulations to him and everyone that won.
Wow, Tiny, you really did a nice job covering that. I don't know if I would have been able to deliver that as eloquently as you just did.
I was up all night.
I know you.
I follow. Look, there are some people who say they love watching the Super Bowl. I like the Super Bowl too. World Series, whatever. Election days, love them.
That's why we were talking yesterday about how so many people think that Election Day should be a federal holiday. I think the day after should be, because people are up so late all night following it and running on very little sleep the next day.
You bring up a good point, and I'll tell you why I agree with that now. I think for some people, it may be uncomfortable to go into work today. It go both ways. You may be you may work in a place where it's overwhelmingly Republican or Democrat, so it may just be kind of uncomfortable for you. So it gives everybody that day to breathe.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't want to engage in any kind of controversy or arguments at your workplace. Let's keep it professional. So that is a good point.
Which I think, I by and large here where we work, I don't necessarily know for sure everyone's political leanings.
Yeah, we keep that pretty under wraps.
It doesn't need to be.
It's a personal thing, absolutely. Yep. Let's go ahead and take a look at sports with Andy, and it's all powered by Virtus Men's Health in Hagerstown. They have telehealth available, and you can find them online at virtusmenshealth.com. What's up, Andy?
There was a lot of action in the NFL yesterday with the trade deadline happening at 4 p.m. yesterday, November 5th. Here's all of the team's moves that traded for players and also traded away some players. The Dallas Cowboys acquired wide receiver Jonathan Mingo, while the Cincinnati Bengals acquired running back Khalil Herbert from the Chicago Bears. Zadarius Smith went from the Cleveland Browns to the Detroit Lions, and edge rusher Baron Browning is now an Arizona Cardinal. The Washington Commanders also acquired Marshawn Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints. The cornerback will now be part of Washington's secondary, and the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to land Mike Williams, a wide receiver, from the New York Jets. As for the NBA, there was no action last night as the NBA took a night off, but tonight there's a lot of great games coming up. The Detroit Pistons will be taking on the Charlotte Hornets. The Orlando Magic battle the Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks take on the Atlanta Hawks. And Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors will battle Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. The San Antonio Spurs with Victor Wembanyama will travel to take on the Houston Rockets. The Los Angeles Lakers will take on Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. And Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are still undefeated at 8-0, will battle the New Orleans Pelicans. The Chicago Bulls will take on the Dallas Mavericks, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, also undefeated at 7-0, will take on the Denver Nuggets. The Miami Heat take on the Phoenix Suns, and the Philadelphia 76ers will take on the Los Angeles Clippers. The Toronto Raptors will battle the Sacramento Kings for the late game. Here's your scores from the NHL last night. The Sabres got a victory over the Ottawa Senators. The Toronto Maple Leafs shut out the Boston Bruins. The Calgary Flames beat the Montreal Canadiens, and the Philadelphia Flyers fell to the Carolina Hurricanes. The New York Islanders beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-3. The Tampa Bay Lightning fell to the St. Louis Blues 3-2. And the Los Angeles Kings beat the Minnesota Wild 5-1. The Winnipeg Jets beat the Utah Hockey Club 3-0. The Colorado Avalanche took down the Seattle Kraken 6-3. The Vancouver Canucks won against the Anaheim Ducks 5-1, and the San Jose Sharks beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 2-1. Some games to watch tonight for the NHL. The Capitals take on the Nashville Predators at 7. The Detroit Red Wings go up against the Chicago Blackhawks at 8. And the Vegas Golden Knights will take on the Edmonton Oilers at 8:30.
If you'd like to be featured on the Coach's Corner with Andy, email coach at 921thegoat.com.
Planning the perfect wedding? Have you already had the ultimate wedding? Would you like to be featured in the upcoming Tristate Bridal magazine? If your dream wedding has, in reality, taken place within the past 3 years, submit your details at bestofthetristate.com and you could be featured in the magazine. You know you want to. Go ahead. Say, I do want to share my dream wedding with the world. For submission requirements and more details, visit bestofthetristate.com.
Want to save money on home energy costs? Make the right choice. Contact HomeRight Windows and Doors in Waynesboro. Winner in Best of the Tri-State 2024. HomeRight Windows and Doors, Waynesboro, your best local window and door provider in the Tri-State. Today's replacement windows can really make a difference in your heating and cooling costs. They can also add to your home's resale value, and you could earn tax credits. To schedule a free in-home estimate, Google HomeRight Waynesboro or find them on Facebook. HomeRight Windows and Doors, Waynesboro, the right choice.
Are you currently medically uninsured? Uninsured citizens are healthier and more productive through free access to health care. Are you currently a citizen of Washington County, Maryland?
Hi, I'm Nicole, Executive Director of the Community Free Clinic. We can help those in need of physical or mental health care, including prescription medicine and lab services. Services are not based on income. Most services are free to qualifying patients. Are you currently medically uninsured? If you need physical or mental health care, learn if you qualify at mycommunityfreeclinic.org.
When you and your loved one need extra support for a very serious illness, there's just one call to make: to Hospice of Washington County.
They provided a team of professionals to meet our loved ones and our family's needs.
They allowed me to be my mother's daughter again and to spend special time with her. I knew I had help just a phone call away.
They were there in our home with help and medical equipment exactly when we needed them.
When your loved one needs extra support for a serious illness, there's just one call to make: to Hospice of Washington County. Hospice care is a fully covered Medicare and Medicaid benefit, and no one is ever turned away for an inability to pay. Hospice of Washington County cares for the whole family. Call 301-791-6360. That's 301-791-6360. Or visit hospiceofwc.org.
If you're not at the John Allison this fall, you're going to miss out. We got the NFL tickets so you can watch your favorite team. 18 beers on tap, signature cocktails, daily lunch and dinner specials, and you can even enjoy the game outside on our patio. Trivia night is coming soon, so check Facebook for details. Be sure to book now for your holiday parties. Join family and friends at the John Allison Public House, South Antrim Way, Greencastle, founder of Good Times.
Don't be crabby. It's time for Johnny's Seafood Sale. Harvest tasty morsels from the sea like jumbo raw scallops, $13.95 a pound. Sail in and check out what's new, including panko breaded soft shell crab portions, 2 pounds, $32.95. 3-ounce classic crab cakes, 6 for $24.95. Try Phillips Chesapeake crab dip, 2 pounds for $16.95. And don't miss the new crab meat combo. Each 1 pound can contains 4 grades of crab meat: jumbo lump, special, and claw. It's a real taste sensation for just $21.95. And of course, Johnny's has shrimp. A 5-pound bag of medium 4150 count raw Gulf shrimp is $19.95. The 2-pound bag just $8.95. Remember, every Friday from 10 to 2, you can try before you buy in Chambersburg. Sweet seafood at Johnny's, where you always find restaurant quality foods at wholesale prices. Route 11 South Chambersburg and Johnny's Express Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg.
Let's create a little sparkle this holiday season. From our Negley's Water family, we want to thank you for the opportunities you've given us throughout this past year. As your local Evolve dealer, our Negley's Water team would like to show our appreciation for allowing us to be part of your family, your home, office, or commercial business setting, and invite you to take advantage of up to $500 in savings when you upgrade your existing water treatment equipment. That's right, save up to $500. This limited time offer is available right now and the consultation is free. Call our office for more details at 888-458-2118 or schedule an appointment online at negleyswater.com/radio. On behalf of Negley's Water, your local Evolve dealer, thank you for the over 45 years in business. We're thankful for you and hope to continue to offer the high quality service you deserve. Happy Thanksgiving from Negley's Water.
WIKG, Mercersburg, Chambersburg, Greencastle, 92.1 The GOAT, the Tri-State's home for sports and news. Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
I'm joined today by Jess and Andrea of Family Care Services. Ladies, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really anxious and excited to hear about your company and your program because it's something I'm not familiar with, and I know that it's something that's probably very needed in the community. So I'm just going to let you start off by talking about what is life sharing and why is it so important?
So life sharing is a residential option for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. They're able to live with a caregiver in the caregiver's home, and the caregiver can support them in any way needed. They can help them with education, transportation, supervision, provide physical care needs, anything that they need to live a happy and successful life.
What are the requirements for somebody to become a caregiver?
Okay, so caregivers have to pass background checks. They have to have physical. They have to complete some training, specialized training related to caring for individuals with intellectual disabilities and understanding the population and the level of support that's needed for the individual.
If somebody were taking in an individual in their home, they live with them for a minimal amount of time?
Nope. It can be whatever fits. So we have a contract agreement with the caregiver. So the caregiver's home gets licensed. They complete requirements annually to maintain license and keep their home open. And as long as the individual and the caregiver are both happy with the arrangement, we've had caregiving arrangements go on for 20 plus years where individuals have lived with the same caregiver for that long.
Wow. What is the benefit of becoming a caregiver?
In my opinion, being a caregiver is very rewarding. You're helping an individual live their best life, get the best quality of life. They're a companion, a friend, a family member. So I think it's very rewarding for caregivers to help individuals.
This reminds me a little bit of like a mentoring situation, but with adults. Would that be an accurate way of looking at it?
Correct. Yeah, the caregivers are not the individual's parents. They're not replacing family. It's more of a mentorship and opportunity for them to live with someone that can teach them life skills and can introduce them to new experiences in the community and just really be like a partner or a mentor, like you said.
Is the caregiver responsible for finding employment, or is that already provided?
That's part of the team experience. It's all about what the individual wants to do with their life. If they want employment, if they want to participate in day program, if they want to volunteer in the community. The caregiver is part of a larger team that helps make all that happen for the individual.
Let's say that somebody was really interested in getting involved in the steps to becoming a caregiver. Where would they start?
So the best place to start is familycareservices.org. We have a lot of information about life sharing on our website. Individuals can also put in a request to reach out to us, and we can talk to them, have individual sessions. We offer info sessions at our agency. We would provide them an application that would have instructions for, everything they needed to get prepared to submit with the application.
If somebody were a caregiver and they had somebody come in and into their home, and let's say it wasn't working out for some reason, what would be the process in that type of situation?
So the caregiver or the individual can request at any time that they want to look for other residential options. We would explore what we have within our agency. A lot of times we do have some homes that have what we call vacancy or another spot for an individual, so we can do tours, meet and greets, explore the other options. Or if we don't have anything within the agency, we can reach out to the county and see what other agencies or residential options might be available.
Have you been a caregiver, Jess?
I have never been a caregiver. Nope.
Andrew, have you been a caregiver?
No, I have not.
Do you have any stories that you would want to share about a really successful caregiving matchmake that comes to mind?
I think we're very lucky at Family Care Services because we have a ton of success stories. We have a caregiver recently that just retired. She was with us for 40 years. She provided some excellent care to a number of individuals with high medical support needs, and she did a fantastic job. So we really respect and appreciate everything she did, and she definitely made all of the lives better for the individuals that she cared for.
We had another family that had an individual for a couple of years, and it was a younger individual. He had just graduated from high school, but wasn't ready to become independent yet. And so they helped him learn independent living skills. He was with them for a few years, and then he was able to transition into housing of his own with additional supports. So that family has maintained contact with that individual and continues to be a type of mentor for him, but he's now able to live independently. So there's quite a range of needs that the individuals in the program have.
And I bet that's such an incredible bond. Like what a bond that they must have, and how rewarding that must be. Is there any kind of like financial compensation if somebody is a caregiver?
Yeah, so we pay caregivers a daily rate. Rates are based on needs group. So needs group correlates with the level of support that an individual needs. Needs group 1, 2, 3, and 4. Needs group 1 individual being someone who needs more supervision, verbal prompting, not as high of a support as someone at needs group 4. That's an individual that's going to need a higher level of support and a lot of physical assistance on a daily basis. So, the rates are dependent on the score of the individual and the capacity of the home and everything. But yep, we pay a daily rate for caregivers.
What is the support that is, and you may have already touched upon this at the beginning, what kind of support are the caregivers receiving as well as they're going through the process?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have life sharing specialists that go out to the home on a biweekly basis, and they provide support as far as working with the caregiver to make sure that the appointments are scheduled and the medications are taken care of. They do like monitoring within the home. They give the caregiver the opportunity to talk about any concerns or ask questions. They also support the caregiver in making sure that they're meeting all their home requirement and training requirements. So we have that life sharing specialist kind of built in the program that is like the support person to support the home and the individual, the caregiver and the individual.
Does this cost any money to the family of the special needs child or adult?
So the program is funded through a waiver from the state of Pennsylvania. So a consolidated or a community living waiver is what they need to have for residential. And that is what actually helps pay for the service. So there is no cost to the family of the individual or the individual placed in service other than there is a room and board rate that gets taken out of the Social Security daily. But the overall expense of the service is funded through the community living or consolidated waivers offered through Pennsylvania.
How many individuals do you have that need caregivers?
Well, currently we have 32 individuals that receive service. Mm-hmm. And we get referral calls, periodically. It varies based on kind of what's happening. We had a referral recently, unfortunately, for an individual that had an unexpected death of a family member. So therefore, it became emergent that he kind of get a home somewhere else, and they're looking into life sharing. So it's really just kind of person to person dependent, but we get routine, regular calls for referrals.
Is there a way that somebody could get their feet wet or watch or kind of see the process before they fully commit?
Yeah, absolutely. We are always looking for caregivers who want to do what we call like substitute or backup care. Our caregivers are doing this 24/7. And although the individuals are part of their family, they at times, need to get away for something. They might have a medical surgery or procedure coming up and they need another caregiver to care for that individual. So we are always looking for caregivers who want to get approved just to do some non-routine care and some periodic care. And a lot of times what we see is when they do that, when they get their feet wet, like you said, then they decide that they actually really enjoy it, and then they become like a long-term caregiver.
I don't know if this is a good question or not. I'm just wondering, if someone decided to be a caregiver, can they also work a full-time job, or does this then become like their full-time position?
So it's really dependent on the caregiver and their level of support within a home. We have some caregivers that just do this work as their employment. We also have some homes where it is a caregiver and their spouse or partner. So between the two of them working either part-time or one working full-time, one part-time, they can provide the needed support and the transportation and everything that's needed within their schedule. So it's really just dependent on the family and the built-in support and how invested kind of everybody in the household is in the caregiving.
Are any of the individuals wheelchair bound?
Yeah, we have individuals who are completely mobile and individuals who rely on walkers and wheelchairs and things. So we really are dependent on the match. We think the match is really important. So we would obviously, place an individual in a home that is handicap accessible,
Didn't have stairs, and
that the caregivers are comfortable with that level of support and can assist with transfers and anything that's needed. So yeah.
How can people get in touch with you from both sides? If somebody wanted to be a caregiver, or if somebody had an individual that needed somebody to help them with the caregiving?
So anybody that wants to be a caregiver, like I said earlier, can go on our website, familycareservices.org. They can also call our office, 717-263-2285, and ask to speak with myself, Jessica Coons, or Andrea Adams in the recruitment department. As far as individuals that are needing services, we receive our referrals through supports coordination agencies. So if an individual or family has a supports coordinator, they can let them know that they're interested in life sharing with Family Care Services, and that person will contact us and we'll get all the information needed to get the process started.
How did you get involved in this, Jess? I bet you have a story.
Well, I started in human services because I was set that I wanted to work with children. Mm-hmm. I had a passion to work with children. And then I had a child, and I just felt really overwhelmed with the child system and working with children. So 11 years ago, I went to Family Care Services and started working in the Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities program. And 2.5 years ago, I became a supervisor in the program. So I just really enjoy the individuals. They always bring a smile to my face. They're always excited to see us. They're very appreciative of the support and the care that they receive with the service. So it's really, really rewarding work.
I was a teacher, an elementary school teacher, for almost 10 years, and I worked with a lot of special needs children. And I just know how rewarding that part of the job was. It really does fill a big part of your heart. So I can imagine, as a caregiver, it really, really is an enjoyable and rewarding thing to do.
Yeah, and it's great because the individuals really do become part of the family.
Sure.
It's not like work. They do everything with the family. They go out into the community, they get groceries, they go to church, they have holiday meals and dinners with the whole family. So there's compensation for it, there's pay for it, but it's not like work.
Mm-hmm. If somebody were a caregiver and wanted to take like a vacation, would they have like a backup or a substitute caregiver, like you said? Would that be a situation where somebody would come in and assist so that the caregiver could take a vacation or do whatever they were going to be doing?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And that's, again, caregiver preference. A lot of caregivers, because the individuals are like their family, they choose to take them along. They choose to make those memories with them and have those experiences. But if they're not able to for some reason, or they choose not to, that's where we use those vacancies within our other home or the backup caregivers within the natural family system to provide care to the individuals while the family is on their vacation.
What is the age range of the individuals who need caregivers?
So we work with adults, so 18 to...
All the way
up, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to have any kind of certification or anything to work with a special needs adult?
No, there's no requirement as far as formal education. I mean, we require the specialized training, again, for understanding individuals with disability and that kind of care and, rights and preferences. The big thing is that the individuals in our program are adults, just like you and I. They have choice and control and freedom over their lives and how they live their lives. So we really just want caregivers to understand that they're more of a partner and a mentor. They're helping them live the life they want to live, not a parent.
What a wonderful organization. You guys do great work. Really, really great work. Do you offer any other types of services with family care services?
We do. We also have a foster care program and an adoption program. So we work with children who have entered the child welfare system due to trauma, abuse, neglect, and when they can no longer live with their families, we have foster families who provide services to make sure their needs are met and to be their kind of substitute family until they can go home. Or if their goal changes, then that family may have the option to adopt that child. So we provide services to those children and to the families who are interested in doing that as well.
You guys are angels. You really are. What an incredible company. So again, if somebody was looking to get more information, they could go online to familycareservices.org. The phone number is 717-263-2285. Any other way that they can get in touch with you? Facebook, social media?
We do have a Facebook page, so you could find us, Family Care Services, on Facebook. You could stop by the office.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we have people just stop by the office to ask questions or find out more.
I'm sure that anybody listening is going to have questions, because it's something that is going to be so rewarding and bring you so much joy, but you probably have a lot of questions jumping into something like that. So yes, definitely encourage anybody to stop by, get in touch with you, ask questions, learn more, and just do the good in the community, because that's what we need. We need the good in the community. So it's been really a pleasure talking to you both and getting to know about Family Care Services. It's really inspiring.
Thank you. We do have an information night every other month where we will share with families about our programs so they can learn more even just by coming to that.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Jess and Andrea, for taking the time to talk with me today, and have a wonderful afternoon.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.
The JR Sport Brief on the Infinity Sports Network.
Am I going to favor them to win the championship this year? The answer is no. That'll be the greatest miracle because this is the New York Jets. And unfortunately, what's most likely is that one day Aaron Rodgers packs his bags and says, I want to leave. The New York Jets don't have a coach. And the New York Jets are going to have to start from scratch and suck for many more years because another Green Bay Packers experiment quarterback screwed them. This is JR of the JR Sport Brief on 92.1 The Go.
Everybody's athletic journey is different. Some athletes might find themselves injured, and others are looking to get back into their favorite activity. At Meritus Sports Medicine, our expert team will support the unique needs of athletes of all ages and levels, from youth to professional. Conveniently located at the Valley Mall, our new facility boasts leading-edge technology and the compassionate local care everyone deserves. Our expert team will develop individual treatment plans guided by the needs and goals of each athlete. To learn more, visit meritushealth.com/sportsmedicine.
It's beginning to feel like rifle season. Are you signed up for Keystone Outdoors' annual Battle of the Bucks, sponsored by Strum Ruger and Company? Contestants signed up for the Battle of the Bucks will fight it out for the largest rack title. Registration is closed for archery, but rifle contestants have until November 29th to sign up. Anyone signed up for the Battle of the Bucks will be entered to win a Weatherby 307 Adventure. Must be present on Saturday, December 21st to win. Check out Keystone Outdoors on Facebook or stop in the store for more details. Keystone Outdoors in Fort Loudon. Everything Bucks, everything outdoors.
Shelters are full across the country, and the Humane Society of Washington County is no exception. Hundreds of animals are in care between the shelter and foster homes. They need your help. Please consider adopting a pet or volunteer. Help walk dogs, wash and fold laundry, distribute food from the pet food bank. Have a garage, warehouse, barn, or other suitable shelter? Adopt a working cat. You can save a life. Adopt a pet from the Humane Society of Washington County, and remember to have your pets spayed or neutered. Learn more ways to help at hswcmd.org. Go to 921thegoat.com to enter the Ho-Ho Home for the holidays for a chance to have your mortgage paid for 1 year, all thanks to DRB Homes. Discover the incredible offer from DRB Homes this November across Pennsylvania, Western Maryland, Eastern Panhandle, and Winchester, Virginia. Secure your new home with just a $1 contract deposit. Act fast. This deal is available for homes closing by January 31st, 2025. Ready to make your move? Learn more at drbhomes.com.
Join us Saturday, November 23rd for the 39th Annual Greencastle Christmas Parade, presented by Verstandig Media and Antrim Way Honda. Get into the holiday spirit and help welcome Santa Claus to town. The Christmas Parade starts at 9:21 a.m. Be sure you're curbside to watch for Santa and all his jolly helpers. The 39th Annual Greencastle Christmas Parade is brought to you by John Allison Public House, Lumber Direct, Tulpehocken Springwater, Greencastle Lube Center, and Alternative Choices.
Due to continued growth, Chambersburg Waste Paper is hiring full-time CDL Class A flatbed drivers and Class B roll-off drivers. Drivers are home every night. Chambersburg Waste Paper offers full medical benefits, productivity and safety bonuses, paid time off, and matching 401k. Email your resume to recycle at cwprecycle.com or apply in person at 2047 Loop Road, Chambersburg. CWP, an equal opportunity employer. Drive for the dream.
Looking for a renewable, clean-burning, and cost-stable home heating alternative? Use Somerset Premium Wood Pellets, available at Knitter House Hardware. Somerset Premium Wood Pellets are 100% hardwood, clean-burning, and low ash. Available in 40-pound bags or by the ton. Stop by and ask about delivery options. Somerset Premium Wood Pellets are already helping to warm over 1 million homes in the U.S. Will your home be next? Knitter House Hardware, Chambersburg's neighborhood hardware store just off Wayne Avenue.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
A Maryland State Highway Administration contractor is starting construction work on a $61.9 million project along Interstate 70 west and southwest of Hagerstown. The project includes improving 6 bridges and the roadway along the highway from west of Greencastle Pike, which is Maryland 63, east to Bauer Avenue overpass, according to the State Highway News release. Weather permitting, they are expecting to finish the project in 3 years in the fall of 2027.
It'll be here before you know it.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, we are almost in 2025.
These things always, they start them, and when they say they'll be finished, before you look back and like, wow, that's crazy. Now, for someone who has to drive through it every day, I'm sure that it
feels a lot longer.
Exactly. I rarely drive that interstate anymore, so for me, it's going to seem like, oh, well, this is different.
I can't believe this.
Right.
This took overnight and then it's done.
Speaking of overnight, last night we had our big election night coverage. We're going to go over the local races here, and you can obviously watch the national news, and these are all going to be, unofficial results, even though 100% of the precincts may be reporting this just for the sake of, covering our butts. These are the unofficial standings, but you can check the national news if you want as far as the presidential race and which states did this and that. We know that former President Trump will now become the 47th president of the United States. What I thought was interesting, though, is we will cover the presidential race, but just how did your state or your local area vote? So we'll do Washington County now, and then we'll also cover Franklin County, Pennsylvania. I just thought that was interesting. So speaking of, in Maryland, Kamala Harris picked up Maryland, which was no surprise. She did it with 35.79% of the vote. Donald Trump, who was the Republican, in early voting was a massive surge, and I mean big-time surge. I'm sorry, this is Washington County, mind you, so keep that in mind. Kamala Harris won Maryland. However, Donald Trump won Washington County at 61.51%.
Wow. Whoa, that is...
overwhelming.
Yeah, that is.
Overwhelming for Washington County. That's to be expected, though, in the state of Maryland, which historically for presidents goes Democrat. And sometimes on the Senate side, you'll see that they may vote for a Republican senator or sometimes a Republican governor, which is usually the most likely case for the governor. But when you go kind of more to the western Maryland side, Allegheny County, Washington County, mix a little Frederick County in there as well, far more conservative. So you'll see more votes for Republicans. Let's see here. So now, and I'm taking a look at these with fresh eyes, mind you. For the U.S. Senate seat, this one had Larry Hogan, the former governor of Maryland. He did very well. Again, Republicans 66.2% in Washington County to Angela Alsobrooks 28.71%. However, Angela Alsobrooks was declared the winner of the U.S. Senate seat. For the representative in Congress for District 6, Neil Parrott won that with 62.35% of the vote. That's the Republican. A lot of judges up for continuance. So let's see here. We have Judge of the Circuit Court for Circuit 4, Kirk Downey. He picked up the win for that, 98.92%.
Whoa.
So
wow.
He pretty much ran unopposed is what that amounted to. If you look at the Supreme Court of Maryland for Circuit 3, Matthew J. Fader, and the following are all continuances in office, yes or no. So Matthew Fader at 84% said yes to continue. Ann Albright, this is for the Appellate Court of Maryland at large, 83% to continue. Kevin Arthur, this is 84% to go. So there were some no's on that one and the one before, but by and large, all of them were told they could continue. We also have Andrea Leahy, and that was 84% as well. Now, even more hyperlocal, Maryland. I'm sorry, Hagerstown, Mayor of Hagerstown, Bill McIntyre, he won that with roughly 70% of the vote. City Council of Hagerstown, these were ones that were in a lot of people's minds, and I can't wait to get to. I haven't even read the results for these, including the City Council. I'm very interested. Let's see. Kristen Alshire, she was in first place. Caroline Anderson in second. Erica Bell in third. Mark Bell in fourth. Tiara Burnett in fifth. Sean Flaherty in sixth. Stacy Michael in seventh. And Rich Owens in eighth. And that all went from 13.41%. And don't take those, by the way, those positions, because the percentages are a bit different. But you could vote for up to 5 of those. The Board of Education, looks like we have McCusker, Burkett, let's see, Stauffer, and Beachley. All of these did relatively well, I would say. The least vote getter would have been Robin Merchant Spickler, picking up just under 10% of the vote. Everyone else was over 10% of the vote for the Board of Education. And I know that was big on a lot of people's minds. Amazingly, I told you how I go on YouTube walks, and it seems like YouTube knows what I want to see. I don't know how, but it knows me so well. I say it knows me better than my wife, Mary. But it took me to a lot of these videos that go viral of parents at Board of Education meetings, and they're going off.
Oh, yes, I've seen. Yes,
very colorful language. One popped up the other day, and it was just showing the parent. And nothing to me looked familiar. But he starts throwing out names of...
Is this the parent of a child who is in special education?
I can't make... I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I don't know. But it was a gentleman who was... I mean, he was using very colorful language, and I'm sure meant to be unsettling. And some of the names he was throwing out against the members of the Board of Education, I recognized.
You recognized them.
And I'm like, wait a minute. And here it was Washington County.
I wonder if that's the one that I saw. I mean, I also have seen a lot of those. I'm wondering if that's the same one that I saw sticking up for his child who was in special education.
It was crazy, and you know, you're like, wow, this is Washington County, holy cow!
But, I think the whole election was just crazy. And
so glad it's over. Glad we can move on.
Yes, and let's go ahead and take a look at sports, and it's all powered by Legends Bar in Chambersburg. You can satisfy your sports fix at Legends Bar with game day specials and cold brews. You can find them on Hollywell Avenue in Chambersburg. What's going on, Andy?
Congratulations going out to the Greencastle Antrim Blue Devils lady volleyball team. They were able to score a first ever PIAA volleyball victory last night. Playing in the first round of the PIAA Class 3A tournament at home, Greencastle Antrim gave Conwell Egan Catholic a 1-0 lead before roaring back to win 3 straight games and collect a 3-1 victory. It's the first time Greencastle's earned a PIAA tournament win in volleyball, and it comes on the heels of Greencastle Antrim reaching its first ever District 3 championship game and earning its first ever district title this season. Greencastle, who went 20-2, will play in the quarterfinals on Saturday. The site and time are to be determined against District 7 runner-up Beaver High School. They're 19-4. They defeated Du Bois in the first round 3-1, and the Eagles, who are 14-4, the third place team from District 12, trailed Greencastle Antrim 16-13 when Cecilia Macbeth stepped up to the service line. Conwell Egan scored 7 consecutive points. Then after a kill by Abby Eagler, that made it 20-17. The Eagles ripped off 5 more in a row to win game 1, but then the Blue Devils made several serve-receive errors and had a hard time getting its offense on track. Coach Matty Goodwin decided to make some changes in the lineup, and it benefited the Blue Devils as they came away with a win 3-1 and came back against the Eagles and beat them 3 straight games to get their first ever PIAA volleyball victory. Congratulations, ladies. Coming up tonight for flag football, it's a big night. Boonesboro is taking on South Hagerstown at 5 p.m., and Smithsburg will take on North Hagerstown at 6:30. The championship game will take place at 8 p.m., and then the Maryland State Tournament will happen this Friday at M&T Bank Stadium, home of the Baltimore Ravens. Some great volleyball action tonight in Washington County as well. Coming up for the Maryland 1A West Region 1 final, Clear Spring is traveling to Fort Hill at 6 p.m. And for the Maryland 1A West Region 2 final, Boonesboro travels to South Carroll. That match also starting at 6 p.m. For the Maryland 2A West Region 1 final, Middletown is traveling to the Williamsport Wildcats. That match starts at 6 p.m. And in the Maryland 3A West Region 1 final, North Hagerstown takes on Linganore at North Hagerstown. That match also starting at 6 p.m. Coming up on the Coach's Corner today, I have Boonesboro volleyball coach Shelby Wallace and Williamsport volleyball coach Karen Hampton. They're going to sit down with me. They're going to talk about tonight's game and how their season's gone so far for both of their teams.
If you'd like to be featured on the Coach's Corner with Andy, email coach at 921thegoat.com.
Explore, discover, succeed. The area's premier learning institution is Franklin County Career and Technology Center on Loop Road in Chambersburg.
Enroll now for adult education fall 2024 classes, including but not limited to pharmacy technician certification and certified nurse's assistant program. Also, welding and CNC machinist programs. Some courses may be funded through the Career Link.
All courses, descriptions, and pricing can be found at franklinctc.com under Adult Education or contact Faye at 717-263-9033, extension 1512 for more information.
You can apply online at apply.franklinctc.com by mail or stop at the Career Tech on Loop Road in Chambersburg.
Explore, discover, succeed. You can do it all right here in Franklin County. Availability limited. Enroll today.
You can apply online at apply.franklinctc by mail or stop at the Career Tech on Loop Road in Chambersburg.
Change brings opportunity, and here at Williamsport Health and Rehabilitation, we are very excited to announce that as of October 1st, our name has changed, but the care and compassion that is at the heart of all we do has not. Previously, Williamsport Retirement Village, our goal was and always will be to provide the best care in the tri-state area to our community. We currently have openings in our assisted living and long-term care. Please call 301-223-7971 to hear about our incentives and to schedule a tour. Williamsport Health and Rehabilitation, care beyond compare.
Join us Saturday, November 23rd for the 39th Annual Greencastle Christmas Parade, presented by Verstandig Media and Antrim Way Honda. Get into the holiday spirit and help welcome Santa Claus to town. The Christmas Parade starts at 9:21 a.m. Be sure you're curbside to watch for Santa and all his jolly helpers. The 39th Annual Greencastle Christmas Parade, brought to you by Kevin's Cards, Buchanan Trail Tire and Auto, Chris's Plumbing, and Century Inc. As the weather cools down, it's time to warm up your car for the months ahead. You want service you can trust. You want Greencastle Lube Center. They handle all types of maintenance, from oil changes and tires to minor repairs. Don't wait until the cold arrives. Schedule your appointment now and see their full service menu online at greencastlelubecenter.com. Greencastle Lube Center, just off Exit 5 on I-81. And remember to say hi to Sky, the shop dog.
We're speaking with Josh Dahl, certified nurse practitioner and owner of Virtus Men's Health in Hagerstown.
We are a full-service men's clinic that take care of pretty much any issue that a man may have related to erectile issues, low testosterone, weight gain and or loss, and just trying to be as optimal as they can throughout their life. And we can certainly provide those services and give the guys the edge to still be active and live that full, healthy lifestyle and continue to do the things that they like to do.
At what age do you say, well, you could seek help with Virtus Men's Health?
I would say the majority of the clients we're going to service are probably going to be between the age of 35 and 70.
Josh Dull, certified nurse practitioner and owner, Virtus Men's Health, Morgans Avenue in Hagerstown. Online, virtusmenshealth.com. Josh, what do you say to the guy who might find these topics embarrassing?
We're happy to be able to talk to you about that and really give you a detailed explanation and be that person that can relate to your problems and really help move you forward in a good, positive direction.
Making your home more comfortable, secure, and efficient. That's the goal of CV Winger, from upgrading your heating and cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems to installing new faucets or security lights. CV Winger is your solution, a certified York dealer offering products backed by decades of experience. Founded over 140 years ago, York has been an industry leader from the start. Talk to CV Winger today about the upgrades you want in your home and receive a free estimate on your projects. From installing new Comfort Height toilets to a whole house generator or a heat pump water heater. See how properly installed quality York products can make your home smarter, more efficient, and more reliable. You can save money on your energy costs too. Call CV Winger today at 717-263-1469 or find them online at cvwinger.com. CV Winger in Chambersburg, your certified York dealer.
Local and live. Covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State.
We're talking with Mike Straley. He is the founder of Leah's Legacy in Greencastle, online leahslegacy.net. They're a 501c3 charity. I want to talk about you, Mike. I know your wife is involved as well, but take us through your history, and then we'll break into your story. It is one that I would hope that no parent would ever have to tell, and you are willing to tell it. For that, we are thankful, and there's a lot to be learned today, I believe. So, Mike, take us through your history, if you would.
Well, I appreciate that, and especially this time of the year, it's extremely difficult. Even when there's joy, there's sadness, and especially this time of the year, grief just doesn't go away, and grief I think is probably is not the absence of love, but it's certainly the proof that, love is still here. And we certainly have that love. When I say we, my wife, Robin, and I, and along with my parents, that love will never go away. As far as, the story, Leah, probably her addiction started in early teenage years. Around 14, 15 years old. It started with marijuana. And in her case, marijuana was a gateway drug for her because it led to more potent drugs and experimentation with a lot of things. It wasn't probably until maybe a year after she started that, we as parents found out that she was using. We were very naive as parents. We're a middle-class family. She ran around with, middle-class folks. Her friends, their parents are business owners and prominent folks. And, what I like to say is, and it's so true that, addiction does not discriminate.
Right.
And, in her case, it worsened to the point where, we had to get her help. And, we looked at local agencies, and we thought, the first time that, she signed in to a drug treatment facility, we both looked, my wife and I both looked at her and said, now we're finally, going to have this licked, and, she'll be able to leave leave this behind and, live a happy and prosperous life. And that certainly wasn't the case. That was just, really the beginning. And again, we were very naive. And, it started out, we, spent over $15,000 of our savings at that very first treatment facility.
Mike, if I could interrupt you for just 1 second. You had said that Leah began with marijuana. By the time that you're referencing now, when she had been admitted into a treatment facility, what substances was she using at this point?
Cocaine, heroin, ingesting, shooting, snorting, crushing pills.
Okay.
You name it. Yes. So, she was in and out of treatment facilities and sober living homes. Her best treatment was in California. She was there for a number of years, back and forth actually to California. Loved the West Coast, loved the area in L.A., but being a country girl from the small town of Greencastle, that was certainly, it took some adjusting.
Sure.
She knew that, the answer was not coming home because home was a trigger, and she would get back, into the, with the same so-called friends, and it would just lead to a relapse. But she did go to, several other treatment facilities on the East Coast. The last treatment facility was actually in Ephrata, PA, and she had good success there. And, she met and kept in contact with a person that she met in California who was from Florida. And, this person wanted Leah to travel to Florida to visit her. And ultimately that led to her passing on Valentine's Day of 2018. I received the call here at work. I work at Fulton County Medical Center as the executive director of the foundation. And I received that call at 9:02 a.m. that there were two Pennsylvania State police officers down in the lobby that wanted to speak with me. Had no idea what they wanted to talk about. But I quickly found out, and that was a day that I wish I don't wish that on any parent, because from that day on, my life and my wife's life and our family really that's changed. Nothing has or will ever be the same again since February 14th, 2018.
We're talking with Mike Straley. He is the founder of Leah's Legacy in Greencastle, online leahslegacy.net. They're a 501c3 charity. Mike, you just, as you said, and so eloquently put, you just talked about the experience that no parent should ever have to deal with. But the question that I have for you is, you said that you didn't know what the state police officers wanted. You were just told that they were there and they needed to speak to you. My question is, where did you believe at the time that you got this, prior to knowing that Leah had tragically passed? Where were you and your wife thinking that Leah was on her journey at that point?
We knew that she still had some issues, but we also knew that, she had gone through so many detoxes and so many sober living facilities that, she said she was going to visit her friend in Florida, and that if it worked out, that, she would continue, going to meetings and, possibly, looking into some sober living facilities down there. And, we didn't know that her friend, I'll say her so-called friend, was in active addiction. And honestly, that day that the police officers came, I was running things through my head, and I thought, okay, was our house burglarized? Was, our son in an accident? Did something happen to my parents? Getting the news of my daughter overdosing never entered my mind. But the authorities in Florida had contacted, obviously, the authorities in Pennsylvania, and then they found my phone number, and that's why the two Pennsylvania state troopers came over here to the medical center to alert me. And then I had to make that long drive from Fulton County over to Hagerstown, to break the bad news, just the tragic news that to my wife. And of course it was Valentine's Day. And she knew that, that she wasn't getting flowers or chocolates because we had talked in advance about, doing something else for Valentine's Day. And so I had texted her when I got to the parking lot of her employer, and I said, Robin, can you meet me outside? And, she saw the look on my face. She read my body language, and she said, Mike, you're scaring me. And I said, Rob, we lost her. And we just both broke down, and we both collapsed on the sidewalk in front of her employment. And like I said, then, from that day on, nothing will, ever be the same.
Yeah.
It's just not. And, so we've fought through, and we continue to fight through the grief.
Yeah. Let's get to that too, Mike. I just want to say, to put to wrap up that portion of your story, I just want to say from me personally, my daughter was born in March of 2020, and you hear stories like yours. Sadly, they are not infrequent. As they should never exist, but they certainly should not exist in the numbers that they unfortunately do. And when you have a child of your own, the stories that you hear get more inside you and stir those emotions. So first, before we break into the phoenix rising from the ashes, so to speak, I want to thank you, because I cannot even begin to wrap my head around how difficult that was for you and your wife, as you said, still is in many circumstances, especially this time of year. It's something about the holidays for everyone, whether they lost someone tragically or a grandparent who's no longer with us. So thank you. I really don't know what else to say, but thank you. And I appreciate you being so open and sharing that story with us.
Well, you're quite welcome. And my wife and I are very transparent. When we speak to women in sober living, oftentimes they don't hear this side. Obviously, they hear the side of recovery, which is, what you want to hear.
Sure.
And I will say this, to sort of segue, if you will, that, in Franklin County already this year, and I'm certainly not alone, and my wife and I are not alone as parents. Losing a loved one in Franklin County, this year's total is either met or exceeded last year's total, and it's in the high 20s. I want to say like 27 to 28, 29 folks have lost their lives. And that means that there are grieving parents, there are grieving loved ones, just to paint, a nationwide picture from 2010 to 2020, 500,000 people have lost their lives to the opioid crisis. And, that just sort of, paints the picture, if you will.
And I think
way too many.
There's a part of me that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we've been dealing with the COVID pandemic, and that has been just, catastrophic, obviously. But when you put it into the numbers you did, in 10 years, 500,000 people have succumbed to addiction to opioids. And we should be scared to death of that, because as you said early on in our interview here today, that it doesn't discriminate. It is not, it does not know race. It does not know creed, ethnicity, gender. It doesn't know any of that. It doesn't know whether you're, skinny or heavy. There's no, you would have never thought, I'm sure, that your daughter, that Leah would become addicted, but certainly not, that it would not lead to her demise. You wouldn't have thought that.
Correct. And, there's so many variations now out there, that are coming in from the borders, from Mexico and from China, synthetics that are very, very potent, 10, 12, 25 times more potent than, regular opioids. And, it just seems like every month there's something else that's out on the street. That's just, a lot stronger.
Sure.
And, it's just really hard to, wrap your hands, around everything here as far as, how do we combat that?
Yeah.
And so, what we tried to do, and when I say we, again, it's my wife and I, we wanted to do something. We didn't know what we wanted to do in order to honor our daughter. But I'll share a little bit. Her last year, it was 2017, when she was at the Sober Living House in Ephrata, PA. There was a church group that came in around Christmas time, and they had these nicely wrapped packages, except one that was in a garbage bag. And, of course, Leah was the type that she would stand back and let everyone else go before her. And so everyone was, taking all the nicely wrapped packages, and she wound up with the garbage bag. And inside the garbage bag, though, she really hit the mother lode. There was a really nice purse, and inside the purse there was all kinds of gift cards and all kinds of essentials, deodorant and toothpaste and, so on and so forth. And she called us that day, and it was like one big run-on sentence. She was so excited about everything that she had received. So, we wanted to do something, and we didn't know what. And actually, on March 1 was her memorial service. We were actually supposed to meet her in Florida and take her out to dinner that night because I had a speaking engagement, and then we were going down to some Major League Baseball training camps. I'd never experienced that, and we were going to meet her for dinner because where she was staying was like 20 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of that, we had her memorial service in Hagerstown that night. So that following Sunday, we had her memorial service at the church that we attend. And that following Sunday, Robin and I were just, both just nervous wrecks, and we were grieving. And it was about halfway through the service, this hand came across my left shoulder with this card. And on the card, it said, "Be a voice." And I kept that card, and I looked back, and it was the lady that normally sits behind us in the pew, and she smiled at me and gave me a wink. And I kept that card, and I put it in my walk-in closet, and I looked at it, every morning, every evening. I prayed on it. I thought, I don't know what this means, but I'll continue to, have faith. I don't know, what this means. Well, it was probably a couple months after the fact. I was on my way home from work, and this notion popped in my head. I was driving actually through Mercersburg, and I had to pull over. And I can't say that it was a loud, audible voice, but this voice said, "Recreate the bag. Recreate the bag." And I'm just, thinking out loud, what is this? Or recreate the bag.
Right.
And then it hit me all of a sudden about the garbage bag that Leah had received with these essentials. And so I was really excited, and I got home, and I told Robin, I said, we need to recreate the bag. Well, she had the same response that I had initially. And I said, look, remember the white garbage bag that Leah received? And she said, yes. I said, well, let's recreate that bag, only it's not going to be a garbage bag. It's going to be a reusable purple drawstring bag, and purple is twofold because overdose awareness, the color is purple, and that was also Leah's favorite color. Mm-hmm. And I said, inside this bag, I said, let's pack it, just fill it with essentials. And she's like, well, what are we going to do with it? I said, let's reach out to other women in sober living, share Leah's journey, share our journey as grieving parents, and maybe, just maybe, we'll have an impact.
Right.
And so we did that. We sort of cobbled together a list. We were trying to recall some things that Leah had received, and then we put together our own list. And then my wife looked at me, and she's like, well, Mike, how are we going to do this financially? And I said, well, I do fundraising at the medical center. Let's put together a letter and send this letter to our family and friends and see what happens. And we wound up with it was like $1,200 or $1,300 that people would send us. And that was really the start. And then my wife bought in bulk, and we continued to buy in bulk to stretch our dollars. And we have over 40 items in that bag. And, each bag retail cost probably is around $50, and then during the winter months we supplement it with a really nice soft blanket, an oversized bath towel, hats and gloves. And our very first distribution, and I wanted this to do this intentionally, and that was to go back up to Effort at the sober living home where she had originally received that bag.
Yeah.
And that was the very first distribution that we did. Actually, it was 1 year later in 2018. She passed on Valentine's Day, and we were back up there in that December, and we made our first distribution. Now, at that point, we weren't an official foundation, a 501c3. And I said to Robin, I said, well, we really need to become an official 501c3 because if people are making donations, with tax purposes and also our ability to write grants and receive grants, we need to be a 501c3. And we filled out the paperwork, and we got that back and approved in probably 3 or 4 months, which normally takes about 8 months at least. And, in 2019, then we officially became, a nonprofit as Leah's Legacy Foundation. And, we continue to reach out to sober living homes. And, really our mission statement is providing necessities, cheer, and love to women in sober living environments. And the response has been overwhelming to date. If you were to go into the Leah Legacy Operations Center, which that in itself is a story, and I'll give you a brief overview of that.
Sure.
I have a little tote board up there, so every purple bag that goes out, obviously we account for all that. And if you were to walk in there today, you would see the number 364. And that's the amount of bags that we've reached and we've given to women that are in sober living. But you got to understand, back when we first, got those bags, we were ordering everything in bulk, and so we were shoehorning things at our house, in our garage, and in closets, and in drawers, and it sort of picked up a little momentum, which we were grateful for. And we would have to get everything out and assemble the bags in our garage, and we were running out of space. And because we had gotten some really nice donations, Procter & Gamble gave us over $5,000 worth of product at their plant in Martinsburg, and a company in Long Island gave us wet hair brushes, and so we were getting all these boxes of stuff and of items. And so I said to Robin, I said, we really need a building. And my parents, we live beside my parents, and they have about 3.5, 4 acres. I said, we really need a building. And so long story short, last October, we opened up the Leah Legacy Operations Center. It's a simple 20 by 30 building, but we operate out of that, everything that has to do with Leah's Legacy Foundation. That's where we store everything. It's beautifully constructed. Everything was built on love. Everything was built through donations, whether it was through grants or whether it was monetary donations or donations of product and or services. The painting, the drywall, the drop ceiling. It's just a beautiful story of people coming together and wanting to help. And, I chronicle that in the book that I have since penned. It's called The Calling. But then, the next chapter was my aunt's house is actually beside my parents' house on the other side. And I had talked to my cousin about that. And I said, when my aunt going down the road, passes, would you consider, selling her property to us? We want to do something through Leah's Legacy Foundation. And, she unexpectedly passed. I had this conversation this past March or April. And here, sadly, she unexpectedly passed in July. And we were expecting something on down the road, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever. Right. We were talking years, not months. And like I said, she unexpectedly passed away. couple months later. And so I'm happy to say that, we, through the foundation, we purchased my aunt's property, and it is now called Leah's Gathering Place.
Wow.
And we have, we now have a house guest, one house guest, and she has 4 years sobriety. And she previously served as the house manager at a local sober living facility for women. And, she works in drug treatment. And so we're very pleased with that. And she's anxious to, help us establish some programming, because that's what we want to do. Within Leah's Gathering Place, we want to provide some life skills training for women that are in sober living, i.e. cooking and baking, because lots of times, when women come in to a sober living facility, they may only know how to, put some ramen noodles in a microwave, and I'm not exaggerating, that's just the truth. And so my wife wants to do some life skills training, and then we're also going to do some grief counseling for children and also for adults. We're continuing to work on that programming. And then my wife has started a little mini bakery there. It's not open to the public per se, but she takes orders over the internet and on Facebook. And it's called Leah's Cookie Bite Bake Shop. And she started out with really her iced sugar cookies, and they took off last year at a fundraising event that we had called Fiddlin' in the Field. And she baked 19 dozen, and she sold those within 50 minutes of the fundraiser. And so she's going to specialize in those. She just finished up a 400 order for a private event, and other people are ordering. So, I don't know where that's going to lead to, but people can follow that on Leah's Cookie Bite Bake Shop on Facebook. But yeah, that's what we're doing.
Well, Mike, I want to make sure that everyone knows, because it's been a while since I've said this. We've been talking with Mike Straley, the founder of Leah's Legacy in Greencastle, online, leahslegacy.net. That's LEAHS legacy.net. They're a 501c3. Mike, I could talk to you all day, truly, but unfortunately, we gotta wrap it up here. But I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that the website you go to, again, leahslegacy.net. They're on Facebook. If you want to get involved, if you want to donate, and every little bit helps, I'm sure. And, Mike, I wish you guys the best, and please keep in touch. If there's anything that I or the radio station can ever do for you, would you please let us know?
We'll do that. And I just, would like to end this by saying my book is also available. It's called The Calling, and that's also on the website. And, God bless everyone out there. And, do me a favor and hug your child tonight for me.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, and I'm going to do that for sure, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate having you today, okay?
Thank you.